Right guys, if you are a Canon C70 shooter and you shoot in RAW and you edit in Davinci Resolve and your footage looks like this instead of this, then today I'm going to show you exactly how to get all the RAW functionality out of your Canon C70 in Davinci Resolve. So I've been using the Canon C70 for I think like nearly 2 years now coming up on, and I absolutely love it. Absolutely amazing camera, and the fact that they've added RAW into it just makes it even better, even more versatile. But the only problem is that for some reason Davinci Resolve, with all its current settings or the default settings, it doesn't actually allow you to use or utilize all the RAW functionality in the C70 RAW file. But thankfully, with a few tweaks here and there in the settings, we can unlock all of it and get the best image possible out of the C70. Right, so jumping into Davinci Resolve, basically you'll bring up a project and you drag in some RAW footage. So this was shot on the Canon C70. This is in RAW LT. I haven't really noticed a big difference between RAW LT and RAW ST, just a bigger file size, but the image quality still looks absolutely amazing. So this is from a commercial that I recently shot. We shot the whole thing in RAW. If you want to see the full thing, I'll leave it linked up here so you can actually go check it out. But basically, if we look at the footage straight out of, I guess, dropping it into the timeline, it doesn't look like C-Log 2. C-Log 2 is much more flatter, and this looks, it almost looks like Rec 709. Right, so now if we open up the color space in Davinci Resolve and we come over to Camera Raw, we can change the decode quality to full res Canon and decode using to clip. And this will allow us to access kind of like a lot of the RAW functionality. We can change the ISO here. We can change the white balance if we want, but we can't change the color space. We can't say that it's in C-Log 2 or C-Log or whatever we actually shot in to then be able to bring it back. So basically, to bring up all that functionality and to actually get the most out of this image, what we need to do is come down into settings, and then we need to come to color management here. And we need to change the color science to color YRGB, not color manage. And then based for the timeline color space, we have Rec 709. And for the output color space, we also have Rec 709. Now, if you are on a Mac, you need to change this to Rec 709A. That is like an Apple certified Rec 709. And basically that'll just it gives it slightly more contrast. So then when you bring it onto your phone and stuff, it actually looks like what you're seeing on the screen itself. And now if we press save, we can see that the image goes back to the C-Log 2, and we have the functionality of changing what we want it to look like in here. To bring it back to a Rec 709, I would do a color space transform, and then from here we can do a Canon Cinema Gamut C-Log 2, and then we can do a Rec 709 in a Gamma 2.4. And then we're back here, and now it looks very similar to obviously how it was before. But the thing here is that, say if you're trying to match this with, say, footage from a C200 and that shoots in C-Log 3, or you're shooting with, you know, an R6 which shoots in C-Log 3 as well. Basically, you can change this to the profile of C-Log 3 and then basically go from there, and you have all the control possible. So guys, I hope this helped. If it did, consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Otherwise, stay creative and just be you. Have fun.